Good morning, APPA World. How is everyone this morning? Right, we're going to be starting judging of the Illustrative category. My name's David Patterson and welcome to the Australian Professional Photography Awards here in Melbourne. I am now going to invite our judges up onto the judging panel. So, let's start with our ladies, and Robin Campbell. Could I have you coming up? Robin Campbell, Master of Photography. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lisa Sard from Victoria, would you like to join us on the judging panel, please? Another Master of Photography. And our third gorgeous judge, Jackie Rankin, Grand Master of Photography. Yep. An Aussie but an honorary Kiwi. That's a good idea. We'll keep those boys in check. And while we're talking about Kiwis, let's invite Ollie Dale, one of our New Zealand colleagues, all the way from across the ditch, who also has a swag of awards. Ollie, what do your ribbons represent here?
This is a fellow.
A fellow of the New Zealand Institute?
That's correct. But as it's yellow and that means associate over here, I put on my masters as well because that makes me look more important.
Right, okay. So a little bit of a Christmas tree, but it looks very impressive, and that's what we like to see. We know we have great qualifications. And I think we'll probably need another judge here, so why don't we invite the Queenslander, Adam Finch. He's still Master of Photography. Thank you, Adam.
So position 1, Ollie. Position 2, Jackie.
Yep.
And we've got Finch.
So we're just logging in our judges. So while that's happening, you can just do your yoga poses. Get your concentration. A few deep breaths before we have our first print of the day. So I'm ready. Our staff out the back are ready to rock and roll. Fantastic. So let's have our first print, please. Excellent. Okay. We're just waiting for the screen to come up so that our audience can see the score. But I can tell you what the score is. This print has scored 83, a silver award. We've just had the conversation about the first print of the day and how often it's perceived that it's a very tough gig being that first print of the day. And this has just verified the stats that I've done over the last few years, that there is a higher percentage of silver awards on that very first print. And this morning we have an 83 silver award. All judges, 83, 82, 86, 84, 82. Spot on the money. Great. I would like a comment. I'll be quiet and let our judges speak. Jackie, please.
It's a gorgeously, oh God, I would improve this just for me. There's the light behind the girl on the right is just a little bit bright, and she was standing out in a little bit unnaturally. But I think it's come together as a great narrative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We accept that score, and we'll go to the next print, please. And we have a score of 79. And we have a challenge. Oh, no, we can have a challenge, but it's in the negative, not in the positive. So unless the challenge in the negative is taken up, 79. No, it's up to you. No, I understand that. Okay. Okay, no, that's fine. We'll accept the challenge. Adam, on 73.
Yeah, look, I I rewarded the photographer for print technique. It's been a well seen and constructed image. I just don't know how much they've brought to the architecture, knowing this building. I other than flipping it, it doesn't really excite me a lot. It doesn't communicate very much to me, but I'm listening.
Lisa.
Yeah, I gave it a solid 83, and it is beautifully handed, and I really love the tonality and quality. But I immediately saw an android, like a structure of some sort of robotic form in it, and that's kind of what compelled me to put it into a silver, the silver category. And I thought it was, it reminded me of those cars that could become, what are they called? Those Transformers, yeah, it reminded me of a Transformer. So I was just immediately drawn to it, and I thought that's very clever of the author to give us that.
Okay, we'll take a comment from Ollie on 78.
Yeah, I kind of sat right in between you two. I saw that kind of android Darth Vader is like a lion's face. I don't know, there's some kind of life that's in there that has been brought there because of the choice that the author has made to flip it. I don't know the building, but I kind of guessed it was something that was given to the author and they didn't bring much to it, and that's kind of why I sat at 78. So I'm willing to listen, because at 79 we're on the cusp, so let's talk.
Jackie, please.
In support of the print at 82 at the moment, the choice of that particular blue tone coming through, radiating through all those panels, I think that's a good choice. The choice of the little cloud on the corner coming off and being like panels of the shoulders, I think that's a good choice. And the little banner, the little triangle badge in the middle, they're all good choices that brought it into silver for me at 82.
Thank you, Jackie. We'll come back to you, Adam, for your right of reply.
I've listened to those comments and will be reassessing my score.
Thank you very much. Judges, could you please rescore? Thank you. No, you're locked in. We now have a score of 80, a silver award. Excellent, great debate, and we shall go to the next print, please. Printer scored 74. So thank you, judges. And Ollie, let's have a comment.
It's an interesting shape, and in the illustrative category, I'm looking to kind of see what else you're taking me to, where else you're taking me. And sadly, you got a Kiwi to judge this. We get lots of sheep, and I've seen this shot many times. So there's no innovation for me, and I don't see another hidden story in this. So it sits at professional standard.
Thank you, Ollie. And remember, if you're going to make jokes about yourself, it takes it away from me having the opportunity to make jokes about, the Kiwis and sheep and that. Although as Australia has, 87 million sheep? I think so. You probably wouldn't all fit. Okay. We'll accept that score and we'll go to the next print, please. And the printer scored 84, a silver award. And we saw that hand in the air. A challenge from Robin Campbell on 89. Please, Robin.
Yeah, I'm in the silver distinction range here. There's so many things that I find are in the technical excellence category. To begin with, the capture is absolutely stunning in regards to bird photography. To have the mother bird flying in with the cricket in its mouth and the beautiful, the shape that they've managed to capture in that particular position, and then lining up with the little baby bird coming in with its beak ready. Compositionally, the spiky thorns, the way they flow through the image, they look like birds' wings as well. As far as bird photography, this is probably one of the most stunning images that I've seen in this genre in terms of turning birds into a piece of art. Love the print handling as well. The background looks like it's been shot in a studio. It's just beautiful and perfect. So I think it's beyond a silver distinction, and I'd love the other judges to join me.
Thank you, Robin. Adam, you're on 81.
Okay. Yeah, look, I certainly enjoyed all of the elements that Robin did. I probably what's holding me back, because I'm still in silver, certainly. Probably what holding me back from distinction was I actually found that background to sort of not... It doesn't add anything to the image to it, but it also competes for me. I settle on the background a little too much. But I'm listening, certainly. I still think it's a wonderful image, and why it rewarded in silver.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Robin, you do have a bit of support. Lisa's also in the silver distinction range.
Yeah, just the first of all, the tonality and the care that's been taken with this image is quite exquisite. And you know, I could have gone down and said, oh, there's not enough detail and shadow and that, but I thought that actually brought and it made the image a little bit more three-dimensional, and the isolation on the background and as Robin has said, those thorns. There's a lot of care and attention that has been given into this print, and I think we need to reward the photographer with a silver distinction.
Thank you, Lisa. Robin, your right of reply.
Yeah, I do believe we are looking at superior craft and skill. This is beyond a silver award. My interpretation of the background was that it was like a painterly portrait, and that was sort of part of the essence of the image as a little piece of art, as opposed to how you would traditionally see bird photography as more documentary. And that's also part of what I enjoy about it, the uniqueness and bird photography being presented in this format. So yeah, silver distinction. Thank you.
Judges, would you like to please rescore? Every judge in the silver distinction range, averaging of 87, silver with distinction. Woohoo! Next print, please. And while our judges are deliberating over the next print, I would just like to say a big thank you and acknowledgement to our platinum sponsors, Olympus, Aon Insurance and Panasonic. They are fantastic supporters of the AIPP and APPA, and so let's get out there and support them as well. And while we're speaking of sponsors, we also like to thank AZO for sponsoring the Illustrative category. They too have been a long-time supporter of the AIPP, so let's support them. Print scores 71. We'll take a comment from Adam, please.
I desperately wanted to be rewarded with wonderful detail when I got up close, and it's just not there. So the author, if you're listening, yeah, getting the focus right and getting that really beautiful detail through all the skin texture and glitter would be wonderful.
And the scores were all fairly around the same mark there as well. Okay, thank you. Let's have the next print, please. And we have a score of 77. And I'll accept that score. Who'd like to make a comment? Adam. Thank you.
Uncomfortable subject matter and a valiant effort at portraying it. Those deep blacks have just lost the little bit of detail that we do need to get a little bit more shape, and the highlight in the hair sort of really draws you away from where you should be kind of focusing.
And I'm seeing some nodding going on, so judges are in agreement there for the author. Thank you. Next print, please. And we have a score of 80, a silver award. and a comment. All right, who was on the average here? Actually, it's Adam.
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed the journey my eye takes through this image. Though I really wanted to be rewarded with a bit more sort of crispness and sharpness in it. Sort of the kind of texture works with it, but I think I'd prefer not to have to justify it to myself that it works, just opposed to getting pure detail.
Thank you, Adam. Let's have the next print, please. And we have a score of 76. So let's have a comment from maybe Robin. Thank you, Robin.
There's a lot that I enjoyed within this image. I love that the photographer's seen it and documented this little house and its story with the car. A little confused by the texture in the background, and perhaps a human element would add a little bit more to the story so that we could raise it up a bit more. Thanks.
Good comments. Thank you very much. Did you want to say something, Jackie? You seemed keen. Okay, we'll accept that score, and we will have our next print, please. And the printer scored 82, a silver award. Round of applause. With 4 judges in the silver range, 1 on 79. Lisa, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to really congratulate the author on the beautiful image that we're looking at. Just a few technical just areas. The black is not a solid black. If it was supposed to be solid black, seems to be a ripple of texture through there. And also just with the skin rendition or the skin retouching, there's just some areas where it goes from light to dark that need to be finalised.
Great, thank you very much. Let's have the next print, please. And we have a score of 76. And again, all the judges very, very close scoring there. Let's have a word from Ollie, one of the chaps.
From back here, it's really gorgeous, but when you get up close, the blacks are blocking up, and there's not quite the sort of finesse that we'd want to see. This is a fantastic idea, and very nearly into the silver range. Just the finishing has let it down.
Great, thank you, Ollie. Let's have the next print, please. And the printer scored 80, a silver award. Lisa, again, you're a little bit just above the average there.
Yeah, it's quite captivating. It kind of takes you around on this sort of dizzying sort of circle. But I spent a lot of time up there because I was like, show me a pattern that's not exact, and I'll go into a silver distinction. Like, show me something else, give me something. But it's quite striking, close up and far away.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's have the next print. And we have a score of 81, a silver award. That was a hand in the air. Oh, excellent. That's what we like to see, Ollie. Ollie's on 87, so we're going to have a challenge here. Please, Ollie.
This is a beautiful little story, and the elements are very precise. The thing that held me back from going into gold was the use of the texture. I think the texture was just a little bit over the top. We didn't need that to add to the story, but that's why I haven't gone into gold. I think this is a silver distinction. There's such an illustration here. There's such a beautiful sense of place and time and story, and all the elements work really well. The lighting is a little bit brutal, but it kind of adds to that story. It adds to that time. You know, maybe the weather's closing in and it's about to get hit by a cyclone, whatever. It's just brooding and it's interesting, and the smoke is part of that. There's a little bit of humanity there in the sense inside someone's living, trying to keep warm. I got a lot out of this, and I feel it's better than an 81. I think this is a silver distinction.
Thank you, Ollie. Let's go to Jackie. Thank you.
So I've scored this 78. I don't believe the birds. I guess it's the believability that didn't take me into that 80 zone. The believing of the story, that felt to be too many elements not really coming together to take me, to transform me. The lighting under the birds is like little pools of light straight underneath. They're unresolved. They're burning in around the edges. The smoke going straight up, and yet there's a windmill there that talks about wind. They're not. So I guess you need to, or maybe I need to have felt the story to be real to go into 80s.
Well, Ollie, you do have some support, and we're going to go to Robin on 84, and then we'll go to Lisa.
Yeah, I'm on 84. I'd actually like to see it get a stronger silver than where it has scored at this point. I didn't go to silver distinction. Yes, the texture also disturbed me. I strongly believe it's a silver because it's sort of a play on colour and tones, and the red's balanced by the blue, and it's in terms of a little piece of art, I think it's been really cleverly balanced and thought through. And you can actually sit there and enjoy it for a very long time, and there's a lot of peace within that image, and I think as a piece of art it's very, very successful. I was a little intrigued. You can see the little shed, and it's almost like it's partially open. I would have loved to have seen what was in there. It's like maybe there's a light coming out of there for a little bit more of a story. But I think as a piece of art it's incredibly successful, and I'd like to reward that with a stronger silver.
And Lisa.
Yeah, on a technical level, I just felt it felt very short, and I wanted to put it into a silver, but there's a couple of perspective issues on the house that are really unresolved, and as Jackie's mentioned, the shadows of the birds are not matching the rest of the scene. However, I understand the feeling of it, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate those comments. For me, if it was just opened up in the shadows a bit more and the texture was a little bit less, I'd go into a very good silver. But I will consider coming up into a low silver.
Okay, look, we've all had a good go at this. Adam, you wanted to have a chat as well, and then we'll go to Ollie for his right of reply.
Yeah, I probably struggled like some of my fellow judges with the sort of some of the technical imperfections, but I think the longer it sits here, the more I kind of enjoy that almost cartoonishness that gives. I think if everything was technically perfect, then it would then it wouldn't work quite as well, wouldn't feel as quite as cohesive. There's an uneasiness with some of the things that are wrong about it, which it sort of makes it right. And there's a dog. I don't love the texture so much, and that's held me out of being crazy high. But I think I'm comfortable with silver distinction to reward that the feeling that this image gives.
And Ollie, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's all those elements that bring it together. To me, the story, if you want to look at the shed, it's an outhouse. The door's open because the guys run out quickly before the storm hits. If the windmill was spinning, then I would see a disconnect between it and the smoke. But it isn't. It's just there. It's part of the scene. It is a little bit unbelievable. I think if we come to the illustrative category looking for believability, we're going to struggle all day. It's more about the illustration. It's more about, I could see this in a storybook as the front page of a really interesting story, and I just wanted to reward the author with more than just a barely a silver. I think a strong silver or even silver distinction would be great.
Great, thank you. Judges, currently the print sits on 81. Could you please rescore? Print scores 85, silver with distinction. Excellent work. Thank you, judges. We'll go to the next print, but we'll also do our first judge change. Robin, seeing seat number 5 up there, I might give you a bit of a rest. Watch your shoulder on that TV screen. And Jackie Dean, welcome to the judging panel, Jackie Dean. Grand Master of Photography, Sydney-based. Bottom, JACQ, and that should do it fairly quickly. Yeah. So if you just do the JAC, you'll get a whole lot more. Man, isn't that brilliant? And we have a score of 76. So thank you, judges, and let's have Jackie Dean. You're exactly on 76, so welcome to the panel.
It's a lovely idea. I think the author needs to look at the blocked up shadows in the hair especially, and if she's in the water it would just have more flow and more detail.
Thank you, Jackie. We accept that score and we'll go to the next print, please. And we have a score of 81, a silver award. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, indeed. We're going to have a challenge, Jackie, on 86, please.
Yes, I think it's a stronger, not an 81. The calling factor for me was the architectural elements within it that became sort of 3D when I got up close. So it stopped it being a flat mandala or, you know, a piece of graphic art, but it pulled me in and pulled me out. I like the choice of just that slight bit of blue through the translucent area, as if it was glass looking into another plane. I thought it deserves a little bit more than 81, and I'm asking you to come up to a higher silver.
Okay, Adam, you're the only one not in the silver range.
I don't disagree with Jackie's comments. I probably just sort of struggled to flow through this continuously. I kind of rest in the middle, and these sorts of pattern images, I kind of want to have my eye dance more around more often. But I'm listening. I'm comfortable with moving into silver.
Okay, the other judges are on very similar scores, but who would like to have a chat before I nominate? Mr. Dale.
Yeah, I'm listening, Jackie. I really enjoyed the graphic as it turned around, and I was quite happy to stand back and just enjoy that. And then when I got up, I was rewarded by this exquisite detail and the fact that they've used the architecture in a different way than I would normally see. In this version of a sort of repeated pattern, we are rewarded by being able to see what the pattern's made of and being able to enjoy all those elements. So I think I might have underscored at 82. I'm happy to come up.
And Jackie, you're right to reply.
Yeah, I'm after a higher silver, maybe not a higher distinction. I just went into that range myself. I think there's some timeless elements in this, and that is the clock. And that's what looks different in each of those clocks. It appears to be like a different time. And that particular tones of yellow actually make that grey. It is actually, I think, grey, but it makes it sort of feel blue. And I think there's something vibrating happening in those tones of that sky that is quite deliberate and sophisticated. 86 for me.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, judges. Let's have a rescore. Print scores 85, silver with distinction. Round of applause. Okay, next print, please. And we have a score of 82, a silver award. We'll accept that score, and we'll have a comment, please. Adam.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the image. The thing that really bothers me is the arrowhead isn't actually, it's like a sporting one, not like something that kills something, though I'm sure it would. But and it sort of takes the believability out of, you know, the kind of huntress, you know, wild child.
Thank you, Adam. Let's have the next print, please. Okay, print has scored 79 by majority. we have scores ranging from 70 to 92. So we're going to have a little bit of a discussion on this one. We're going to accept the challenge from Lisa on 92. Please, Lisa.
Thank you. Look, I have to admit, I saw this on the run through and thought, well, okay, if I'm going to go up to this print and it's just as good as I think it was, then I'm going to give it a 92. And I apologise that it did take my eye, and it's wonderful. It crosses a lot of genres. It's not just illustrative. It's fashion. It's pop art. It's Andy Warhol. It's just crazy. It is such a very, very, very interesting way to photograph stockings, or perhaps it could be an ad on, maybe you need to go and see the GP if you've got, irritable bowel syndrome. It doesn't matter. It is just fantastic. It's so graphical. It's so clever. That yellow is just smack bang in your face. I really want the judges to think about, I just really want to think about giving it perhaps a gold.
Okay. Before we finish there, Lisa,
Yes.
it is actually an auto challenge.
Oh, so I don't.
So you don't get a right to reply. So I'm just going to remind you that now. Okay, if there's anything else that you want to say.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
Yeah. Thank you. The highlight area is just in. So I know some of you are going to bring that up. The shadow area is just in. However, if we think of this as pop art, if we think of this as clever, if we think of this as being highly illustrative, but taking fashion and taking sort of that very one-dimensional use of colour, where it's got black, white, and skin, then I think we need to reward the author with at least 90.
Thank you. Adam, on 70?
I'm glad Lisa mentioned the highlights, because that's the thing that just frustrates me the most about it. It's not that it's not in, because it is, but it's just not quite in the right spot. I sort of look to the top of the buttocks. That's the right word for this live streaming, isn't it? Rather than the fingers, or maybe that bottom hand. I'm sort of just not being directed to where I want to be directed. It sounds terrible at this point. I also struggle with the graduation in the yellow. I kind of would prefer it to be a solid colour or closer to a solid colour. I kind of get distracted by moving around, but maybe that's how it works. I've had my angry stockings on at 70. I will move it up. But whether gold, as much as that's the colour I'm looking at, I'm not quite sure about.
Okay. Would any, Jackie or Ollie, would you like to speak? Because then I'm going to come back to you, Jackie.
It's definitely a challenging image to judge, in that it's hard to know what to make of it. And because of the fact that we are able to have this discussion, that means that I underscored it at 77. It's an image that will affect people when they see it. It makes you think. It can bring things in. Yes, the highlights, yes, the vignette. But it's still an image that needs to be rewarded because of the fact that it is causing this debate and this consternation. And I said consternation, not the other one. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be coming up into silver.
Okay. And Jackie, please.
No, I think good communication in an image has to have an idea. And this has a very, very strong message to me. I scored it an 84, and I was probably underscored it. But it was the highlights on the top of her bum. Another word.
Derriere.
Derriere. That really sort of pulled it down for me. But it is a very interesting image.
Okay, judges, it was an auto challenge, so all judges can change their score, or you can stay on the score that you originally gave it. We now have 87, silver with distinction. Excellent work. Isn't it fun? Right, deep breath, and we'll go to the next print, please. We have a score of 79. So this print will go for review. No one is in a position to challenge. But let's have a comment from Lisa, because I'm going to do another judge change.
I love the sort of the spatial tension between the pink and the cyan. But just the graduation of tone between the two needs to be addressed. But it's really good.
Excellent, thanking you. And we're going to invite Mark Duffus from Queensland, Master of Photography, onto our judging panel. Welcome. And we shall call for the next print, please. Maybe do, Lisa. There'll be lots of marks. And we have a score of 78. And we have a challenge from Jackie on 83.
I love the hints, the clues that have been left in the photograph. The white little line on the right reminding me of a spider straight up and coming in, and then being sort of rewarded with a whole lot of very narrow depth of field, selective focus points of what seem to be plants. It's a construct that I think has come together to illustrate a spider, but it's not a spider. I thought that pushed it into that next realm of into the silver zone. The two circles seem to work with the composition. They're balancing each other. My eyes moving between them and being. I'm finding that the readability of it quite enjoyable. So that's where I'm in at 83, and I'm asking you to reconsider and come with me.
Okay, we'll go to Ollie. Our other judges are all on 77, 76.
I really wanted to love this, and I think it's a powerful piece of communication. I got a kind of before and after, or a now and then. And photographers love threes, and we're not given a 3, we're given a 2, and it's challenging, but it's rewarding as well. And then the image on the right, just if those lines, if that detail had been there, if it had been a thing, if the technique and the process had brought me something that I could believe was actually there, but it's so kind of not focused that it becomes more of an idea, and I just felt that it didn't go into silver for me. Willing to listen, but interested to know if any of the other judges want to come up, because that's kind of where I'm sitting.
Okay, I'll just quickly ask the other 3 judges. Does anyone want to talk with a new aspect of the image? Okay, well, we'll go back to Jackie for your right of reply.
Yeah, as I've sat here, I've come up with another interpretation of the one on the left being a caterpillar, with this spiky softness, and the one on the right is the butterfly. You can actually see a kind of abdomen. So it's even now it's no longer a spider. It's become something else, and that's kind of cool. Well done, 83, and I'm asking you to enjoy that as well.
Okay, judges, let's have a rescore. Yeah. Just scored 80, a silver award. Okay, next print, please. And the print score is 78. We have a challenge from Adam on 83.
I really enjoyed the stillness and the quietness and the sort of peacefulness of the design and shape and technique that's been brought to here. I think the reader has been really beautifully rendered in that sort of lovely crisp white, and yeah, it just it sort of lets me flow through. It has a dreamlike kind of feel to it, which I think marries up with the concept of sleep and reading before bedtime, etc. That I really enjoy. I was on 83. I thought it was worthy of silver and communicating well.
Thank you. JR.
I scored at 75. I thought the exposure was way too bright. It was taking me away from the emotion, the connection with the stars. The night sky should be dark. There was some kind of blemish on the top right-hand corner near the moon, like a watermark. I couldn't see its relevance to the idea, and also the circle within, and within the black circle, the blue circle outside. I was a bit confused. I was looking for constellations and tell me where I am in the world. But I'm listening, but still on 75.
I'll go back to you, Adam, because the other judges are very much on the cusp.
That's fine. Yeah, I saw that kind of outside circle as what you often see on star maps, and sort of divide them up and give them sort of little sections, and so I sort of enjoyed that. And I feel if it was a dark image, it would actually have a very different message. It feels lighthearted. It feels like a children's bedtime rather than a nightmare. So yeah, I'm very comfortable in silver in the way that it communicates to me.
Okay, thank you, judges. Let's have a rescore. Well, the print's gone up to 79, so it will go for review. So we'll have another crack in the review section. So thank you. Let's have the next print, please. Printer scored 79. And no one is in a position to challenge that score. So at 79, it will go for review. And we're going to call on a comment. And Mark, you were actually on 82. Would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, it was actually quite interesting. The colour in the background and actually just the continuity of the colour reflecting onto the subject and the way it's been handled. And a lot of those tones photographically or digitally normally have an opportunity to solarize, and I think the photographers handled them so well and printed it. It's a beautiful print.
Great. Thank you very much. We're going to go to the next print. And while our judges are contemplating the next print, I'll just let our audience, both here and out there in live streaming land, know that when we say a print will go for review, any print scoring a 79, an 84, an 89, or a 94 is 1 point below the next scoring range. That meaning a 79 is just outside of the silver range, and that will go to another room to be reviewed. It won't be discussed. It'll just be a simple yes, no, does it go up into the next range. A print scoring an 89, which is a silver distinction, will have an opportunity to possibly go up to a gold award. And the print score is 71. Thank you, judges. And let's have a comment from Ollie.
There's so much to like about the image, and it gets taken away by this vertical line just below or in front of the central bird that is so straight and scratchy and so unorganic. The rest of it is all soft and beautiful in motion, and then there's this one thing that just took me right out of the image. So just pay really careful attention to details like that.
Thank you, Ollie. Next print. Okay, we have, by majority, 84, Silver Award. Let's applaud. But we also have a 93 amongst there. Mr. Dale, would you like to challenge that and then start the discussion?
Wow. I loved the image as it turned around. I was captivated instantly. And when you get in close, there's this beautiful marriage of all of those elements that just take me to another world. Those little figures on top, one of them's holding a sign that says lost. And it's just so gorgeous. The expression on its face, and it's all skeletal. The construct of the main part of the image with the heart down below giving me that feeling of this place having a heart and soul, and it's just so divine. I'd love to hear why you guys only gave it a silver, because to me this is beautifully handled, beautifully printed. There's no matte that distracts me. It's so carefully considered and constructed that to me that's a gold.
Adam, could I ask you for a comment, please?
I was a solid silver at 82. I enjoy it for all of the reasons that Ollie does, but I really struggled to get a strong story from it. I'm willing to listen to one, just to sort of tell me a bit more about how I'm supposed to feel or what it's sort of about, because I rewarded it for its ability to show me something cool, but doesn't communicate well to me.
Okay. I think we might get another judge to have a chat. Jackie, please.
I scored at 84. I was a little bit confused by the lost and didn't really need those drawing sort of kind of elements. I couldn't see how they were relating to the skull and the antlers, and I love the love of the heart, perfectly placed. There's a beautiful composition here. But the story, gold, you're talking about something totally unique, and I think I've seen lots of skulls before and antlers and things coming out of them in this way, the flip-flap, the sort of flipped image, but it's not through the texture in the background. Is it enduring? Perhaps, it could sit as a piece of artwork on a wall for a long time, and people would go up and question, why is it lost up there? And that's that thing. I particularly, for myself, I'm not enjoying the little graphics on top of the head.
Okay, thank you. Ollie, your right of reply.
What I love about the construct of the skull is that it's not just a mirror image. It has, everything has been considered. It's been created. It's unique. It's organic. The flowers that go through the skull itself, it's just beautifully designed. Without those figures on top, I would have felt like the author was just sort of having a play in Photoshop. But adding those figures on top opens up an entire universe of storytelling to me, and I could take this one image and make a comic book out of it and have these characters in this place, and it just opens the world up to me, adding those characters. And without it, it's more of a graphic, and it's all about the skull. But the skull now becomes secondary to those tiny little characters and what stories they may have. And that to me is outstanding visual communication. It brings a whole new universe to me. And I wanted to reward that with a gold. I encourage you guys to open up to the possibility of a gold.
Okay, judges, currently we're on 84. Could you please rescore? Print scores 88, silver with distinction. Very well done. That's one print that won't go for review on 84 because it now has that solid silver distinction. Thank you. Let's have the next print. And the print score is 76. Who would like to comment? Adam? So I'm going to do a judge change very soon.
I think for this to work better, you sort of need to have it either be more perfect and more symmetrical and wonderful, but or maybe tone that sort of technique that's been used over the image down a little more.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to call for the next print. Adam, I'm going to give you a break and welcome back onto our judging panel, Robin Campbell. And the print score is 83, a silver award. Mark, you're on 83. Let's have a quick comment, please.
I think it's very well constructed and designed image. There were and I don't know whether this just me being a little bit OCD and everything else, some continuity issues with the construct of the roof that it sort of pulled it back, and also some of the I would have gone higher if it basically had a little bit more direction with lighting compared to the background, to sort of give it a little bit more flow from front to back, rather than being a little bit more of a blunt illustration.
Okay, thank you very much. Next print, please. And the print score is 77. So thank you,
So-
Jackie, for a comment.
Yeah, just a comment would be the little girl is wonderful, but she's not separating out from the background. Just look at the lighting.
Thank you. Next print, please. And we have a score of 80, a silver award. And we have a challenge, Jackie, on 85. Please,
Yes.
Jackie.
I think this is a well-constructed image. I'm not sure what the little figures are on the top of the banisters. I thought they were Roman numerals, but I'm a little bit confused by that. But maybe somebody can tell me. But I like the narrative in this with a little teddy bear, and I think it's well printed. It's got some lovely texture in it, and I've scored it 85.
Okay. Jackie or Ollie, you're both in the 70s. Similar scores.
To me, I scored this 76. I wanted to give it more. I feel like the idea is a silver or silver distinction, but the execution, the blacks just block up like there was no control. I like the idea of darkness, but the print itself comes across as if the print has been let down. Like the story is there, it's just the finishing, and so it pulled me out of silver. I'm willing to listen as to why those, deep, really unresolved blacks are important to the image, and I might come up.
Great, thank you. Jackie, I'll go back to you.
Well, it's an intriguing, mysterious image, so I think that's why it's so dark. And I'm enjoying the image very much. I think it, shows good communication, and it's well crafted.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. Print score is 81, so it's gone up another point. Okay, thank you. Round of applause and the next print, please. And while our judges are looking at this print, I'm just going to remind our audience that we're judging the AIPP Illustrative category, proudly sponsored by AZO. They've been a great supporter of the AIPP and the APPA Awards, so let's get out there and support them as well. Thank you. And we have a score of 75. And let's all the judges very similar scores. Jackie, please, one comment.
Yeah, separation of your subject from the background and lighting.
Excellent, thank you very much. Next print. Okay. We have a score of 88, silver with distinction. Round of applause. But that's not where it's going to end. Jackie is challenging
I'd
on
like to challenge
92.
92, yes. Oh, unfortunately, this has a black mat, but ignoring the black mat, I think this just has such a story in it. This young girl who doesn't want to age, she's holding her skin back tight, and the beautiful textures in it. It's wonderfully crafted, and the little filigree pattern around the edge, I think, just holds the whole image together. It's well deserving of a gold, and we're very close to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have two 86s, an 87 and an 89, so I'm going to call it either Jackie or Ollie on 86.
I'm open to listening because I was taken aback by this image. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it what I felt it deserved, which was an 86. It's ended up on 88, so I wasn't far off, but I am listening because I did get a powerful message from it. The thing that I really enjoyed out of all of it was her eye, because she's not just looking forward towards her life, she's looking out at us. And that little thing to me is the difference, because it's not like she's looking forward to what she's going to do in life. She's more concerned about what we think of her. And that's why she's looking to see if we're looking. You know, it's that kind of feeling. And I potentially underscored it, so I'm open to what you have to say.
Okay. Robin, you're right on the cusp. You don't have to comment if you don't want to. I'm happy for you to listen.
Yeah, I am very much listening. There's a lot about this image that I really did very much enjoy, and there's a stunning quality throughout the entire image. I think I will be moving to the Gold Award level. I think because of the creativity and emotional impact, I think are the two big things that stand out for me.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Jackie Rankin, please.
For a gold award, it must be exceptional vision, creativity, and excellent in everything. And I feel that the blacks are just milky. There's a kind of milkiness to this. So there's this that is pulling me away from that. And there is certainly a lot of control everywhere else. But it was that one aspect that sort of was holding me back. That understanding that idea.
Okay, I think we might go back to you, Jackie, for your right of reply.
I'm really enjoying those sort of that milky black. I feel that the skin tones are so perfect, and the structure of the image and the narrative in this it just sings out a gold to me, and I would really enjoy if my fellow judges could come up.
Judges, could we please rescore? Okay. You've all rescored, but okay, I'm not sure if I should. It's got just for those of you out there in Cyberland, we have a little bit of a technical issue. We're just waiting for a refresh to happen and our scores to come through. So bear with us. We won't be long. So while we're waiting, why don't we have a little bit of a chat about our judges? And I think we might start with Ollie, seeing as it was his suggestion. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
I'm a mainly corporate photographer based in Auckland, New Zealand. My favourite client in the whole world is the Auckland airport. So I get a lot of various stuff for them, a lot of planes, a lot of people, a lot of PR and marketing and property stuff. So they're a great client. And then I tend to do a whole range of other things for my clients. I was on the Honours Council in the NZIPP for 5 years, and I joined NZIP in 2008, and I'm now a fellow of the NZIPP.
And well deserved as well. And Ollie's position on the council, that also included the awards system. Yeah, we have different titles for different functions and that, but Ollie and Kay Davis and Blair Cracks have been the big runners of the awards over the last few years, taking over from Stuart Riddell, which a lot of you wouldn't be aware of, but there is a lot of history there as well. I think we might go to Jackie. Jackie Rankin's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
Jackie Rankin, who born in Australia, now live in New Zealand. With Mike Langford, we run Queenstown Centre for Creative Photography and workshops. So, I got to a point in my life where I could share my knowledge instead of and I make my photographs for myself these days, pretty much. Does that make me an art photographer? I don't know. I love landscape, portraiture, all sorts of genres and travel.
Indeed, and for those of you who are familiar with Jackie's work, and Jackie's been an educator of students and adults and for decades, really, starting off in Goulburn with the college there. So thank you, Jackie. We're still waiting for our refresh. So Robin Campbell, please.
Robin Campbell, long-time judge, etc., photographer of lots of things, run a business in the city, Melbourne Headshot Company, and spent several months last year building a new studio and an art gallery. So my busyness at the moment is curating art for my art gallery and getting that all set up, and it's a corporate art and leasing gallery. So it's representing some of Australia's best photographers and putting it on the walls of all our corporate buildings in Melbourne CBD.
Woohoo. Yes, so if you want to have an exhibition, you may want to talk to Robin about her exhibition space.
corporateartvault.com.au.
And Robin is also a very busy mother with 3 very active boys. And we all know what it's like with 3 active boys, and to balance work and business and running a gallery, extremely difficult. But, if anyone can do it, Robin can do it. Okay, our scores are starting to come through. I just need to check one more panel. That's right. And we have a score, 91, Gold Award. 92, 92, 90, 88 and 92. Excellent work. Thanking you, judges. Okay, deep breath and we'll go to the next print, please. Fast game's a good game, Mark. And the print score is 80, a silver award. Who would like to comment? Ladies first.
Yeah, beautiful, simple, elegant little image. I put it in the silver award because I do believe it's above general professional practice, and I'd like to see more information to tell more of a story to bring it up a bit further. But it sits nicely just as a silver.
For the author, it's not a challenge. No, we're just giving feedback. For the author, just watch your lighting on your elements, because I was taken out. I gave it a 76. I was taken out of silver because the lighting on the element was so different between each one that it just became totally unbelievable to me. So just watch that.
Thank you very much. And they're things that should be very obvious and in the construction when you're putting it together. So thank you for those comments. And we'll go to the next print, please. And the print score is 79. None of the judges are in a position to challenge, but it will go for a review. But we will call for a comment, please. JR.
I scored at 77, and I think it was a great opportunity to have layers of meaning here, but it wasn't taken on. The black just dominating too much for me.
Great, thank you. And we'll go to the next print, please. And the printer scored 83, silver award. And we're going to have a challenge from Mark Duffus on 88. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, I felt this one needed talking about because it's actually quite... The one thing that this reminded me of was a cartoonist's interpretation of the many personalities of a subject, because every one is so different that it very rarely repeats, or if it does, it's so subtly. And it's presented... The birds have such a painted quality in the treatment, and the effect is done so well that I think it basically enhances the personality and the representation of the subject throughout. And design-wise, I just think it's beautiful and printed so well. And I mean, there is a technique or a style that they've used to present it, and that's why I felt it was better than just a silver, and I went into silver's distinction.
Thank you, Mark. JD, would you like to make a comment, please?
Yeah, look, I've been a little bit harsh on this one. I found it very mannered, and also the blotchiness in the sky behind. My eye just went straight to that sort of blemished area there. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a blossom tree. So I love the idea, and yes, I'll come up.
Okay, we've got a couple of judges on the cuffs there, but if no one has anything else to add, Ollie, thank you.
I'll just give the author some feedback for why I gave it 82. I felt that the bottom left of the image was unresolved. It's too close to the bird. It makes me want to look there, and when I look there, that particular bird isn't doing something unique enough for me to feel like I'm rewarded for being there. So in a category where you can do as much work on this as you like, I felt let down by the fact that you hadn't controlled that bottom left side, but it's got a good score.
Okay. Mark, your right of reply.
I think the bottom left is the handling of that and the positioning of that is resolved by the fact that the one looking straight at you and that is fully vertical and has the main contact is on that third section in the right-hand side. So we have a nice weight and balance. And also just the clouds and the blotchiness in the background is basically just, I think, amplifies and just reinforces the style and technique used to represent the birds in the photos. And just the fact that we get this, the blossom tree effect when you stand back and then you go in and it's something different, gives it a much more dimension than just that single image.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, judges, let's have a rescore. Well, print has scored not quite the silver distinction you were after, but it has scored an 84, which is a silver award. And on 84, it will go for review. So it will have another crack. So well argued, judges. Now, what we're going to do now is go to a blank screen. It is now 10:30, a little bit after 10:30, and we're going to have the morning tea break. So I would urge the judges to be back here by 10 past 11, ready to start at 11:15. And for all our audience and that here, I urge you all to go out and see our trade show out there, all these great sponsors that we have for the AIPP and the APPA Awards. Let's go out and have a chat with them and see what deals we can make.